Welcome for another episode of Success Stories. In today's installment, we're going to be having a chat with Managing Director of West Indies Rum Distillery, Andrew Hassell, because that's a success story that we want you to hear about. How are you doing, Andrew?
Fine, thank you, Ganelle, and how are you?
Excellent, thank you so much. Now, there's no way you can say Barbados and not think rum, so you have a huge legacy to walk into. But the success story behind Plantation Rum has got to be an intriguing story. Tell us about it.
Yeah, no, Plantation Rum started just over 20 years ago, and it was started by Alexander Gabriel from Cognac, France. And initially, he was in the cognac business, he still is. But he had some old cognac barrels, and he came to the Caribbean to try to sell those barrels, and he fell in love with rum. And he bought some rum when he was in the Caribbean, and he took it back home, and he, what we call double-aged it. So the rum had been aged in the Caribbean, and then he further aged it in cognac, and he came out with this great rum called Plantation Rum.
That's a fantastic way to do things. Come here to do one thing, leave here doing another.
Yes, he is a true entrepreneur. Anyone that gets to meet him will see he's very much a true entrepreneur. Very passionate and 110 committed to anything he does.
So we're in the home of rum. So clearly there are other players in the market, but what makes you so unique?
What makes, Plantation Rum unique, but also what makes West Indies Rum unique is really prior to 1893 when the distillery was built, most Barbados rum was made in pot stills, which is a batch process. And there was this great German inventor, sugarcane expert, his name was George Stade. And he came to Barbados, he had designed a kind of new way of producing rum using a column still, and he brought that to Barbados. He built the distillery on the beach, down Brighton, right next to the hot pot. And he went around Barbados showing everyone that he was producing the best quality rum. So the West Indies rum story, which then leads to the Plantation rum story, really started in 1893. And what then happened is really all of the people that were using or that had, for lack of a better term, brands, they all started buying rum from West Indies rum. So since 1893, by about 1895, more than 50% of Barbados rum has been produced at West Indies rum. And today, over 85% of all rum produced in Barbados is produced at West Indies rum. And all of the major Barbados rum brands that every Barbadian would know at some point in their history have been produced at West Indies rum.
Why do you think that is, that people continue to buy and want to be interested in West Indies rum? Is it the process, the history?
Yes, the distillery once was built by George Stade, and he did not have his own brand. His rum became known as Stade's, but he didn't have his own bottle product. And so the distillery was well known, not only in Barbados, but throughout the Caribbean, that if you had a rum or you wanted a particular type of rum, come to West Indies rum and we can produce it for you. So if you wanted a heavy rum, a medium rum, a light rum, we could do it all. We had different types of stills, a pot still, a column still, as I mentioned earlier, even a 3-chamber still. We have this unique still. It's called the Vulcan 3-chamber still, and it's the only one of its kind remaining in the world, and we still use it to produce rum.
Because I was wondering, we don't like to move too far away from the ancestors' recipe. You want to stay as true as possible, but then there are inputs and, costs and all kinds of variables that you still want to stay on top of. So how do you manage to innovate and still remain competitive?
Well, there's a balance. I mean, like anything else in life, my father has a favorite saying, too far east is west.
That's right.
I'm careful when I say that because one time I was at a business meeting and someone said, that's assuming the world is round. Yes, it's a balance. Generally, the older techniques are more expensive to produce and are more craft. Some people think rum is rum is rum is rum. Mm-hmm. Rum is diverse.
Yeah.
As diverse as the Caribbean people are, rum is. And depending on, once again, what type of rum you're looking to produce, you can, so to give a quick example, rum is produced by using sugarcane molasses and by fermentation, where yeast or bacteria, or yeast and bacteria, convert the sugar to alcohol.
Right.
You can do a quick fermentation, which takes 1 day, or you can do a longer fermentation, which can take up to 2 weeks. Now, obviously, if one process takes a day and one process takes 2 weeks, the process that takes 2 weeks is more expensive. It's going to be a more expensive rum, etc.
Okay, so let's talk partnerships now, because yes, rum goes back a long way, but we are living in this century, and there's been a partnership between yourselves and Maison Farad, which was a major milestone recently, like 2017, around that time. Tell us how that came about and why it's so significant.
It's very significant for Barbados, and it's very exciting. So West Indies rum was built by George Stade, and it sold rum to a lot of other people, but the largest distillery in Barbados never had its own brand. So you had this large distillery producing 85% of Barbados rum, but selling rum to other people. You had Maison Farad, which has the top-selling premium rum brand in the world that didn't have a distillery. So in 2017, Goddard Enterprise Limited was looking to restructure its businesses, etc. And at the same time, Alexander Gabriel, who owns Maison Farad, was looking to purchase a distillery. And Goddard Enterprises wanted to find a company, a partnership, a marriage where there would be synergies. So they weren't looking to just sell the distillery to anyone, where there would be positive synergies. So prior to 2017, the distillery was a publicly listed company and was losing about 2 million Barbados dollars a year. Since 2017, the distillery has been profitable every year. Every year, the profits of the distillery increases, because whereas before the distillery had maybe 1 or 2 salespeople, with the marriage of the brand is being sold in 116 countries around the world. And we have sales staff all over the world, in China, in Australia, people that live there that are pushing these products. We actually have people in Africa. I know right now there's UNCTAD going on.
Yeah.
You can find plantation rum in Nairobi, Kenya, at Tortuga Rum Bar in Kenya. So we have all of these salespeople out there working for us. And that marriage is great, because now a lot of the Barbados rum story is now being told, is now being put out there.
Now, we are in the throes of probably the most inconvenient pandemic you could want to think about, and it's impacted manufacturing in different ways at different levels. How did it impact the operations of the distillery?
Well, initially, with regards to Barbados, there was a publicly perceived shortage of sanitizing alcohol. We can produce sanitizing alcohol. We normally produce rum, but we can. And we were asked to assist Barbados with that. So we immediately converted to producing sanitizing alcohol. And we've worked every day. We were given permission by government to do that. And I'm really proud to say that as of today, we've donated over $750,000 worth of sanitizing alcohol to government agencies, whether the police force, the prisons, the COVID units, etc. And on the rum side of the business, what is going on out there in the world is people are still living, people are still socializing, etc. They're doing it differently to how they did it before.
Right.
And rum is an exciting product, and rum is a growth product. So as mentioned, what we have seen during the period every year consistently is a growth, increasing demand. Currently, we have several people from overseas at our distillery, and we're making a multi-million-dollar investment to actually further increase our capacity to try to keep up to the demand. But that capacity for next year is already sold. So our team at the distillery, the team that's down there now installing the equipment, we're under a lot of pressure because come January the 1st, we have customers that are expecting to buy that rum. So we are lucky. We, as Bajans would say, we've been blessed that we're in a sector. The other important thing that everyone should understand is probably 97, 98% of what we produce is exported.
Right.
So our market is not just what is occurring in Barbados.
I see. And were supply chains disrupted in any major way, or was it something you could circumvent?
Thanks to the Barbados government, Barbados Customs, the Bridgetown Port, once they kept working, we were able to keep working. The only real challenge we had recently, and I know there's been a lot in the press, is in terms of the scarcity, some challenges with shipping, particularly shipping product out of Barbados.
Okay.
And that has been a global phenomenon. But the shipping companies are adjusting to that. But no really major significant negative.
So if you could bring a positive or an opportunity that has come about as a result of the pandemic, what would that be? What would stand out in your mind foremost?
As an opportunity that came out, I think the main thing is the use of Zoom, Teams, etc. West Indies Rum Distillery, we own 1/3 of National Rums of Jamaica. We are very much an international company. Myself personally and our team, we travel a lot and we attend a lot of meetings, etc. And the efficient use of Teams and Zoom has made us realize maybe we don't need to travel as much as we will still travel because we like to meet people, we like to interact. Right now, Don Ben, who's our operations manager, he is actually in Europe traveling, going to the rum shows, representing Barbados. So we do travel, but I would say that's the main positive thing. And I would say the second thing, more on a personal level, is I think particularly in Barbados, COVID reminded all of us as Barbadians that we're all here, we all live together on this island. As the Prime Minister has said publicly, we all drink from the same soup bowl. Yeah. And to remember, while someone may cut you off in traffic or whatever, at the end of the day, we all live here in the island. And I definitely have seen a pulling together of the community, a generosity not only from businesses but individuals. And I think that's a positive thing that has come about.
And if you can think of just one thing that would definitely make West Indies Rum Distillery the success story that we know it to be, what do you think that thing would be?
Getting as many Barbadians as possible engaged in the rum sector, understanding the role that rum and sugarcane has contributed to Barbados. Yes, some of it has been bad, but some of it has been good. When you go to Cognac or you go to Mexico, etc., in Cognac, they only talk about Cognac. When you get in a taxi, they're selling it. When you go to Champagne, they talk about Champagne. It would be great if we could get Barbadians really all behind Barbados rum. The Barbados rum industry is very small. So I keep mentioning Cognac just to give numbers. Cognac is 30,000 people, and that 30,000 people bring in 3.4 billion euros a year.
Wow.
Barbados, after 300 years maybe of producing rum, the entire Barbados rum industry brings in just over 40 million US a year. So for us, where rum is really an agricultural spirit, end product, the opportunity we have as Barbadians is to have rum bring more value, bring more foreign exchange for Barbados. I'm proud to say that we have been told by government that West Indies rum, in terms of manufacturing, is the single largest earner of foreign exchange. And when you look at the rum sector, in terms of manufacturing in Barbados, compared to all the other sectors, rum is the largest earner of foreign exchange. And so the rum producers, we're out there selling internationally, but what we are doing in a Barbadian sense may seem like it's significant, but on a global sense, there's so much more opportunity to grow. The global rum market is 150 million 9-liter cases for rum, and Barbados, maybe we could produce 5 million cases.
Well, I raise a toast to you myself, and hopefully I can get other Barbadians, and through your story, Barbadians all over the diaspora, to make a good choice when they're raising their glass next as well, and toast to West Indies Rum Distillery.
Yes, and you know, we encourage everyone to try the different Barbados rums, and as I mentioned earlier, the beauty about rum is the diversity. As diverse as the people are, the rums are. And if you don't like this particular rum, well then try a different rum. We are sure there's a Barbadian rum out there that you will like, and that you will like responsibly.
Absolutely. Somewhere out there is a rum for you. Thank you so much, Andrew. Great chatting with you.
Thank you very much for your time, your professionalism, and thank you for the BMA for facilitating this.
Absolutely. Another Barbadian success story gone global. You were listening to Success Stories, and today's story was West Indies Rum Distillery with Managing Director Andrew Hassell. I'm Gaynell Marshall. Join me for another success story.